again.
We are back at the Atlantic Ocean, this time in Maryland, and it is so cold. And we're like one of 3 people camping in this campground tonight.
This place is really cool because we're on Assateague Island and there are wild horses here. In the winter, they're not on the beach as much as they are in the summer, but we have already seen a few in the bushes, and hopefully we'll see several more while we're staying here tonight.
Alright, we found a little trail that we're gonna walk down and see if we can see some horses. There is what looks like fresh horse poop all over the place, so maybe we'll get lucky. It's starting to rain a little bit.
Uh-oh.
Hopefully that doesn't mess up our plans. Mary Catherine thinks she sees a horse.
I can't tell. It's so far away. It's between those 2 signs we were looking at.
It's starting to really rain, so we're gonna go get in the van.
I want to see some more horses.
We did see some at like the entrance of the gate. We were in the van coming into the park.
They were so far away we couldn't film them.
Yeah, we haven't seen any since, so hoping to see one kind of up close. So in this national seashore, you can actually drive an OSV or oversand vehicle down this road, keep going past where it's already paved. The cool thing is they have a vehicle limit, and that's what the sign is behind me. There's currently 4 vehicles in there and the limit's 145. So 1 vehicle has to come out before one can go back in once it exceeds the 145.
So we didn't see very many horses, but it's getting dark, so now it's time to set up the tent, and hopefully we will see some more horses tomorrow.
We gotta figure out a good place to put the tent, a nice level place.
We're gonna set up our tent here, and look, there's horse prints. So maybe, just maybe, we'll see some in the morning. I hope that we don't hear them though, and then like get out of the tent and they're not here. We totally miss them. That'd be kind of a bummer.
All right, let's get started.
Yay! It's time to eat dinner, and just because we're living out of the camper van now does not mean we will quit making camp dinners outside. We are still tent camping in all 50 states, and we don't want to just say, oh, we slept in the tent, but like actually tent camp, and that does mean cook outside. However, if you haven't watched our video from Texas last year where we were stuck in the sandstorm, go back and watch that. We've learned our lesson, so we will not be cooking dinner outside tonight because of the wind and the sand. We are cooking it in here. Just know that's not a normal thing. But we have Campbell's vegetable soup, getting real fancy tonight. We're gonna heat this up in some paper bowls and have dinner. That's perfect for a really cold night. We keep our cooking pot in here because there's not room for it in a cabinet, and if it were to sit on the stove the whole time while we drove, it would fall off. So we have to take it out whenever we microwave things.
We're in the tent now.
Yes, we are. And it's so fun to listen to the waves of the ocean while we're going to sleep.
I think this might be like my favorite campsite so far. Like camping on the beach, like that's like people's dream, and we're just like sitting here doing it.
I know. It's really, really nice, and it's about 50 degrees, and so it's perfect tent camping weather.
Yes.
It's just really, really awesome. We keep hearing things thinking it's horses, but it's not.
It's just the ocean.
I'm just really hoping we see some in the morning because that's why we came.
Yeah.
But I guess even if we don't, this place really is beautiful.
Yep, sure is.
All right, we'll see you guys in the morning.
Good night.
We've camped in 18 states.
State number 18.
Man, it's crazy because on this trip, we thought we would camp in state 16 and 17, maybe 18.
Mm-hmm.
But we're about halfway through, and we're heading to 19 today and 20 tomorrow.
Yep.
All right, I hope there's horses outside this morning.
You look like a fat lard.
No, you don't. You look like a caterpillar.
A caterpillar?
Cocoon.
Mary Catherine just spotted some horses.
That is so cool. Wow.
It may not have seemed like much, but it was actually pretty cool.
Are you getting them?
Yeah, right there.
Oh my gosh. Oh my word. It's like...
So one thing I noticed right off is that campsites 1 through 19, which is what we stayed in, is mostly sand. And then campsites 20 through 41 is like a grass and thicket area. And that's actually where we saw the most horses because they like eating that stuff. They like hanging out around there during the wintertime. So if you're coming here during the wintertime like we did, campsites 20 through 41 is the place you want to stay if you want horses in your campsite.
So most of this island is sand. There are some grassy places, but if you're familiar with horses, you know that's really not the best and normal situation that they live in because they graze on grass and that's how they get their nutrients. So that begs the question, how did the horses get here to this island? Local folklore will tell you that the horses were possibly shipwreck survivors a long, long time ago. During the 17th century, farmers that lived on the mainland were having their crops destroyed by wild horses and other wild animals. Also, if you owned horses, you had to keep them fenced in and you had to pay a tax on them. So they wanted to avoid these taxes, and they wanted to keep their crops from being destroyed. So it's believed that they likely brought the horses out here to the island so that they could roam and graze tax-free. Now, the only issue that provides is that this island really doesn't grow vegetation that is nutrient rich for horses. So over the years they've adapted, and it's turned into a really beautiful place where the beauty of wild horses, which is kind of a foreign thing for us, is observed by many people. So in the winter it gets really cold here. In the summer it can get really hot. There's a variety of insects here, so the horses have had to adapt to dealing with those things. But in the summer you can see them out on the beach and even in the water. In the winter they typically stay back in the brush where it's a little bit warmer.
All right, I feel like we can finally say that our camping trip is over because we've seen horses up close.
Which is really good, because our time here sadly has come to an end, and it is time to head to our 19th state.
Yes, we'll see y'all in the next state.
Lots of horse poop. Watch your step.
All right, we're walking down. Hold on, let me try it again. Yeah.
Hey.
Nice, that was clean.
That was good.
Ready?
Yeah. Well, what if it's too hot? Hold on. We've camped in 18 states.
Okay, hold on. It's
in the 17th century. However, that's not true. Not the 17th century. Supposedly, that's not the word I want to use. However, it's a more widespread belief that the horses are descendants of other animals that were brought here in the 17th century.